Welcome to Silence Screams Loud Strength. In this episode, we're talking about the mask we wear, why the Masquerade Gala matters. I'm your host, Samantha. Okay, the Masquerade Gala, Safe Chain. Hello and welcome back. Thank you for being part of Safe Chain, or Silence Screams Loud Strength rather. In fact, in this episode or this platform, we know that this space exists for honest conversations about survival, trauma healing, and the quiet resilience that often grows out of the most painful experiences. So today, I'm talking to you about the mask we wear, why the Masquerade Galas matters. Now, when most people hear the word masquerade, they imagine elegance, beautiful gowns, black tie, music, candlelight, people arriving in beautiful masks, mysterious, dramatic, glamorous, But the symbolism of mask goes much deeper than fashion. Masks have always represented something human. The way we hide, the way we protect ourselves, the way we survive in environments where it does not feel safe to show the full truth of what we are experiencing. And when we talk about trauma, particularly domestic abuse, masks become a very powerful metaphor because so many survivors learn how to wear them, not for decoration, but for survival. Today we're going to talk about those masks, why people wear them, why society often encourages them, and why the Safe Chain Masquerade Gala on the 30th of October is about something much bigger than an event. It is about unmasking truth and creating a space where accountability and healing can exist together. So, the masks we wear, we learn to wear them in order to protect ourselves. From a very young age, many of us are taught how to wear social masks. We learn this smile that says, I'm fine, I'm okay, even when we are not. We learn the polite response when someone asks, how are you? Even when the truthful answer could be complicated. For survivors of trauma, masks become even more important because sometimes the environment around them is not safe for honesty. So they adapt. They learn how to appear calm. They learn how to appear capable. They learn how to function in public spaces, even while carrying enormous private pain. Many survivors become very skilled at this. They go to work, they attend social gatherings, they raise their children, they smile in photographs, and to the outside world, everything appears normal. But inside, they may be navigating fear, confusion, exhaustion, or grief. This is not deception. This is survival. Masks are often protective armor. They allow people to move through the world without constantly exposing their most vulnerable parts. But wearing a mask for too long can also become heavy because it creates a gap between what the world sees and what the survivor actually experiences. Strength on the outside, struggles on the inside. One of the most misunderstood realities about trauma is that survivors often appear strong, they appear composed, they appear capable, and because of that appearance, people assume everything must be fine. But strength and suffering can exist at the same time. A person can be incredibly resilient and still be deeply wounded. Many survivors develop what psychologists sometimes call functional resilience. They keep going, day in, day out. They keep working. They keep parenting. They keep building things. All the while, their nervous system is under immense stress. This is especially true for people who have responsibilities, children, carers, or even communities depending on them. They cannot simply collapse. Sometimes they carry on, but the mask itself becomes necessary, because if they showed the full truth of what they were feeling every day, they might not be able to function. And society often reinforces this mask. We praise strength, we admire resilience, but we rarely create space where people feel safe enough to remove the mask and speak honestly about what they are going through. This is why many survivors feel profoundly alone, not because people are physically absent, but because the truth of their experience remains hidden. So why the masquerade? Why the masquerade symbol matters? This is why the symbol of masquerade is so powerful. A masquerade ball is an event where people or everyone arrives wearing a mask, and paradoxically, that shared disguise can sometimes create honesty, because when everyone acknowledges the mask, sometimes something interesting happens. The performance becomes visible. And once the performance is visible, people can begin to talk about what lies beneath it. The self-chain Masquerade Gala on the 30th of October was inspired by the idea it is not simply a social event, it is a symbolic gathering, a moment where we recognize the masks that exist in society around domestic abuse. The masks survivors wear, but also the masks institutes sometimes wear. The appearance of protection, the appearance of accountability, even when systems may still have serious gaps. This event is about bringing people together to confront those realities. Advocates, professionals, survivors, community leaders, because meaningful change requires honest conversations, and honest often begins when the masks are acknowledged. Unmasking truth and building accountability. When we talk about unmasking truth, we are not talking about blame. We are talking about clarity. Clarity about where systems are working, and clarity about where systems need to improve. Domestic abuse is one of the most complex social issues our communities face. It interacts with law, healthcare, housing, finances, education, and family structures. Addressing it requires cooperation across many institutes, and that cooperation begins with transparency. The Safe initiative was created for exactly this goal in mind, to explore how systems can work together more efficiently, to ensure survivors are not forced to navigate fragmented processes alone, and to encourage institutes to recognize the realities survivors face. Events like this, the Masquerade Gala, create opportunities for dialogue, because change rarely happens in isolation. It happens when people come together with a shared commitment to improve the systems that affect real lives. From masks to voices. For many survivors, one of the most powerful moments in healing is the moment they feel able to remove the mask. Not necessarily in public, but somewhere with someone, a therapist, a trusted friend, a support group, or sometimes through writing, art, or advocacy. That moment of honesty can be transformative, because it closes the gap between internal experience and external expression. It allows survivors to reclaim their voice, and once a voice is reclaimed, something remarkable happens. Silence begins to break. Stories begin to surface, and those stories often become a catalyst for awareness and reform. So, removing the mask. Before we finish today, I would like to offer a short reflective reflection rather. If you are listening somewhere quiet, take a slow breath with me and drop your shoulders and let your shoulders really soften. Your feet on the ground, and imagine for a moment that you are gently removing a mask you've been carrying. Not because you're weak, but because you deserve a moment of honesty and rest. And if those words and these words resonate with you, repeat them quietly to yourself. I am allowed to be strong and to be vulnerable all at the same time. I am allowed to rest from the mask I wear to survive. My truth deserves a space. My voice deserves to exist. And when I am ready, my story may become light for someone walking through darkness. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for being part of Silence Screams Loud Strength. If this episode resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who may need to hear it. Because conversations like this help bring hidden experiences into the open. And if you would like to learn more about this self-chain masquerade on the 30th of October, you can find more information through the links connected to this podcast. Until next time, thank you and take care of yourself. And remember, even behind the strongest mask, there is always a human story worth hearing.